Well, rusedski, as you can imagine, spent the first half of that changeover berating Andreas Egli. Are you watching the match?
Time.
You should be disgusted with yourself. You should be embarrassed with yourself, he was saying. Just had the feeling, though, he was going through the motions. I didn't feel his heart was in it. Now, that's what we want to see. And I think, yes, it got the outside of the line. So impossible for Andreas Egli to overrule, and it was a good call from the line judge. Classic example of players seeing what they want to see. Meanwhile...
Yes, I wonder how much of the spirit has gone out of rusedski. I think part of the reason for it, and I thought when Henman played it, he looked tentative, and his body language, Henman's, was that he was actually going to hit that ball out. But I think the call was a good one. It landed just on the line.
Well, there's the athleticism he's worked on over the winter with Larry Stefanki and Kieran Foster. See how quickly he changed direction there.
Rusedski should be angry enough here to hit the fastest serve of the night. Instead of which he's succumbing somewhat.
Just looks thoroughly fed up. 3 break points. Knife that one. Every point he wins, he looks up at Andreas Egli as if he's got 2 opponents on the court. Must-win point for rusedski. Oh, I thought Henman had him. That's down as a miss.
He set it up for himself wonderfully, didn't he? He had the option of both that and the lob there, but I think chose the right one.
So many times in that position he's gone down the line, and rusedski bought it. Hook, line and sinker.
This is where Henman, from the word go, has been very much at his best. With rusedski's looking to wrong foot him, he's able to correct his balance so quickly.
Similar pattern. 4 break points saved now.
Yes.
Well, it looked like an outright winner, and yet Henman almost got there. He is lightning quick.
Super second serve from rusedski.
Advantage rusedski.
Yes, a good time to hoist the lob, looking to put it over the rusedski backhand side.
Well watched, well judged. And rusedski manages to calm his anger and get to the front in this 3rd set, which was absolutely vital. 4 break points saved. He's still hanging in there.
Yes, he's got to rid himself of those negative thoughts. I know exactly how he feels. Been out there and done it myself and let a call disturb me. And really, you don't think clearly for quite some time. And of course, in this situation, he hasn't got time on his side, rusedski. He's got to think clearly and quickly.
Plenty of time.
Love 15.
Just a short little jab, very short and slow second serve by Henman. And rusedski standing well inside the baseline.
This is good stuff. And the crowd are responding to rusedski, as is his coach. They could make a difference here, the crowd. As I said at the start, Greg's more like one of them than Tim is. But can he bring them totally into the match?
I think, too, there's the element, of course, of supporting the underdog, wanting to see a bit of a mauling out in the court. And by mauling, I mean not a commanding, easily victory for Henman, but a long match. And who wouldn't, with two really talented players playing some terrific tennis?
Sergio.
Just can't put them together, can he, Fido? Jabbed the forehand on the first point and a similar attempt there, getting it very wrong.
Yeah, sigh of relief there from Henman. That was important. Beautifully weighted volley from Henman in both senses of the word.
And still very effectively using the serve into the body. Just making rusedski not only play the shot, but having to move at the same time. And the coordination not always spot on, whereas Henman's is most of the time.
Long.
Well, certainly unforced. I think he thought the job was over here. Too simple. I love the way he's taking the ball on the move into the net on that forehand side.
40 love. Game.
I think Greg realised very late that it was a very close score. With serve then in the third set, Rusedski leads 2-1. The extraordinarily high standard of this match continues. Stats going through during the break. 25 winners for each guy. 9 unforced errors for Henman, 6 unforced errors for Rusedski. Very good stats indeed. 6 unforced errors for Rusedski. He's 2 sets down. But Henman's taken his chances.
Law 15.
Well, real encouragement once more. Third game in succession that he's taken this first point. Certainly not plain sailing for Henman.
Thought he'd made it. Good return, and he looked ideally set for that pass.
Well, you can sure understand his feeling. So near and yet so far. Terrific saving volley though by Henman.
He's dynamite at the net.
30-15.
Well, he's making all the difference here because unlike in the past, he's playing everything on the fly. In other words, he's not having to take it on the half volley, which really gives Rusedski that much more time, particularly to bring the big forehand into play. Inches above the ground, but before it bounces.
Rusedski's looked on occasions anxious, other occasions thoroughly fed up, but he's never dropped his head. Still trying to work out a way to turn that scoreline around.
Use.
Henman's first double fault of the match.
It's of course generally a reflection not only of tighter control but of a very high percentage of first serves. Takes the pressure off the second.
Two phenomenal shots there. The return in the second shot from Henman. How he got to it, God only knows. It wasn't to much avail, but look at this shot here from Henman. Behind him. Circus act. But Rusedski has another chance. Break point here. This time he's got it.
Rusedski.
The first big blow for Greg Rusedski after an hour and 35 minutes.
Rusedski leads 3-1.
Now then, can he capitalize on that? Is that the turning point in the match, or is it just a flicker? It's what he desperately needed. He needed some success to endorse all the thoughts in his mind.
And you've got to hand it to him. I mean, he really seemed out of sorts in the doldrums. And he's got a long way to go. Henman's almost relentless, but it's been done 12 times in this tournament so far. It's quite remarkable. People have come from love 2 down to win.
In the past, Henman had a bit of a knack of letting lesser players, would you regard Rusedski as a lesser player? Lesser players a chance of getting into a match that they seem to have control of, but not latterly, and surely not here. Not in the Australian Open, not against Greg Rusedski. Greg's going to have to earn every single point.
40-50.
Suddenly Rusedski's playing with a bit of freedom, a bit of panache. And there's a different feel about the match, and the crowd are very involved.
Well, it's the difference, of course, between 5-setters and 3-setters. You've just got to keep up that concentration so much longer. And the double fault by Henman, obviously very crucial in his service game, and just allowed Rusedski that scope. On the other hand, you can be given or allowed the scope. It's another matter to take it. And all credit to Rusedski, who really did seem out of it, given his mood, that he should have the energy and the desire to come back into it.
Certainly one person who doesn't want Henman to win. Renee Stemp just had one of the emails in to tennis.british@eurosport.com. Watching the Rusedski match is Renee. Can't stand the build-up to Henman's serve. He bounces the ball 3 times very slowly, then wobbles up and down for what seems like an hour. I hope Greg knocks him out, so I don't have to witness this irritating ritual anymore. Go, Greg. That's one way of looking at it. Certainly does have an elaborate routine, always has done. But hey, not many of the players complain.
Thank you.
So Renee, just for you, here it is again.
Long.
Boy, is he pumped now.
15 all.
And I think it's important too for Henman to hear him.
There's purpose about every movement now of Rusedski. And as a result, more often than not.
15-30.
Yes, wasn't sure where it was going to land, but once he saw that it was in and deep, making the move forward.
For once, henman looked a little dumbfounded at the net.
15-14.
Yes, had to play this very close to the chest, had to get out of the way, and therefore couldn't really pound the ball.
So 2 break points for the double break for Rusedski.
Rusedski, ball change, please.
Boy, it's almost as if the net knows that there's been a change here and didn't allow the ball to go over. What a sea change.
Not unusual, of course. Quite often players go up 2 sets to love and then have a little loss of concentration. It's not so much being that, although I believe henman has been guilty of it, but of course the fact that Rusedski's been keen enough to stay in the match. It's really what happens now in the 4th that's crucial.
Serving for a 6-1 third set.
Long. 15 all.
How important for Rusedski with his saving of the 4 break points in the first game of this set.
Oh. 15-30.
Would it have been at all tempting for henman to say, I'm 2 breaks down in this set?
30 all.
I'll see what comes, but I'll start serving in the 4th.
Yes, but that would be good for him to do, no doubt about that. And a little unlucky there because Rusedski just slightly mishit the volley.
Break point for one of the 2 breaks.
Yes.
Just occasionally thrown the ball up a little low in the service game, Rusedski, particularly on the first serve. Trying to do that when he rushes.
super shot from henman, giving Rusedski just what he didn't need.
Advantage henman.
Yes, when you see Rusedski's position here, you realize how good this shot has to be, because he's covering that side, really. He's on that side of the center line.
Second break point.
Yes. Advantage rusedski.
So then, set point.
Break after this.
Game so
In the end,
Rusedski.
He did give it away, but only right at the end. And Rusedski has taken the third set with some aplomb. It's not just a $1 million question, it could be a multi-million-dollar question if whoever wins goes on to win this tournament. Greg's gone for a toilet break. Here he comes back. Is that a blip? Is that just something that happened on the way to henman's victory? Or do you think it's significant?
I think it becomes significant if in the first service game henman is as comparatively shaky. I mean, it's not a real shakiness, it's an upping of the Rusedski form, and it's just not as emphatic on his serving, henman. But he struggled in his last 3 service games. And in fact, even in the beginning of the first service game of the third set, he was down love 30. So there is a change here. And it could just be that third set doldrums where you're 2 sets of love up and you begin to ease up a little bit. But he's got to make his move early on here. He's got what he wants. He's serving first. He should have the lead all the way through here if he serves as he did in those first 2 sets. We know Rusedski's going to play a bit better, so his serving has actually got to be slightly superior even to what it was earlier on.
Been a super match.
Thank you. Fourth set, henman to serve.
I still have henman as the likelier winner, but we shall see.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
But it's great courage, great character from Rusedski to come back so big as he did in the third set. Nailed that one. Not that we should ever have doubted Rusedski. He's shown it throughout his career. He is a character man.
Yes, he's come back twice in his career, Rusedski, from love 2 down. Interesting approach to the forehand there. We haven't seen much of that.
Henman Camp, Larry Stefaki in the front row, then Kieran Foster, fitness trainer, Jason Goodall in the middle, and then Lucy, Tim's wife, on the right.
Yes, Jason Goodall plays quite a bit with henman, is a very good friend of his, and is also a fit man who is a coach in London and does a lot of training with henman, sort of a sparring partner, as it were. Jogs with him, moves with him.
Henman playing as if that reverse in the third set was just a blip.
40-15.
Anxious for a trouble-free service game here. Again, it's henman making the move, but rusedski making the decisive
40-30.
play.
Yes, earlier where Rusedski was just hitting the top of the net and the ball was staying on his side. Here it just clips the top of the net and makes it very difficult for henman.
Game, henman.
Important hold
First game,
for
full
henman.
set.
Steadying the ship. And, trying to say to rusedski, that was nothing what happened there. Like a fighter being hit by a right cross and smiling back at him.
Remember henman losing to Alberto Berasategi, very different sort of circumstances there at the French from 2 sets to love up. But of course that's very much Berasategi's domain. Also now I think henman is quite a bit fitter, and fitness now beginning to tell, all that training these men have put in.
Love 15.
Rusedski got to the 4th round last year, of course, beat Curtin in the 2nd round before losing to Arnaud Clément in the 4th. That's the furthest he's gone in this tournament. Oh yes, smack bang on the line. Glorious, glorious shot.
Love 30.
Well, if you like rollos, this is the shot for you. A real beautiful rollover.
15-30.
Getting caught a little bit, henman, between the full drive and the blocked return. Got to make up his mind.
And again. And look across at Larry Stefanki as if to say, that's something we worked out. If this boy starts crowding me, that's what he gets.
40.
2 break points.
Well, it's always a terrific antidote, and Rusedski doesn't move back that well.
Oh, Tim, that was a
30,
sitter.
40.
That could have really turned it back again. Still a chance, but if this does turn against him, he'll remember that shot.
Yes, particularly to that court, because as I said earlier, this is an easier side for Rusedski to save.
Ooh, close again.
henman.
And his mate Andreas is not going to overrule.
If he doesn't call it, I call it. Not always enough, but just about that. Oh, I see replay on that.
So we're great. Are we going to get one?
henman leads 2 games to love.
Surely they heard that in the truck. But that's big for henman. And those 2 fantastic lobs were the difference.
And I hope he said fight there, Rusedski.
Love 15.
Like that.
Fifteen all.
so quick. It was the preceding shot that did the trick. Again, so fast to it. And rusedski couldn't believe it.
Just taking the initiative away from rusedski with his speed across the court. And again, that beautifully taken forehand, taken so early, left rusedski no chance. Not hitting it all that hard, but he's just timing it so well.
Frustration building again.
Still the inability to take more points on the Henman second serve. Henman serving just changed a little here, looking to get a bit more pace, and as a result forcing and missing.
Still the ability to pass on both sides, rusedski.
40-30.
Well, again, not by his standards, not the best of volleys. He hit it deep, but it was a lovely little reflex half volley by rusedski. Just tested the volley again. Signs that Henman's not quite at his best, and rusedski has to take the advantage.
Yes.
Sure enough, onto that just a fraction early. Another difficult service game. Right to the line. Fine serve, and he needed it.
Yes, the best of angles nearer the net than the service line, and that really gives him the scope.
Game Henman.
Very important game for Henman.
Leads 3 games to
He
long.
looked as if he might have been wobbling a little there, but came up with a terrific serve. And then that good volley. So rusedski only ever through to the 4th round here. Tim Henman twice has reached the 4th round the last 2 years. Remember, he's never got to the quarter-final, Henman, of any Grand Slam apart from Wimbledon. And here's dinner time.
Yes, a lot of people were talking about the relative quality of these two at majors. Well, this is rusedski's 32nd major, and he's won 46 matches, including the 2 here. 32 and 146. It's Henman's 28th, and he's won 58 matches at majors. So his record at majors substantially better than rusedski's, but of course rusedski's shining star was the finals at the US Open.
Yep, he's done better in Grand Slams in that he got to the final there. He's done better in Master Series events in that he's won them. Henman hasn't, and I think that's a thorn in Henman's side. It's the 4th round here in 2000. Chris Woodruff beat him, and last year Pat Rafter beat him in the last 16.
Love 15.
Rusedski's also won more titles than Henman, 11 to 9. But always lurking in the back of, I think, a lot of the English public's mind is that Henman has the potential. And that looked all right.
Yes, I thought so, the moment he hit it, in fact. Particularly difficult when you're convinced you should be 15 love up. It's like playing a handicap event.
Yep, you heard it from Greg, first to applaud.
15-30.
We'll take that. Still the confidence to keep ploughing forward. He's moving forward more.
If Henman had kept it lower, it would have been more of a test. Henman just giving Rusedski the pace he likes there.
40-30.
And Rusedski giving Henman the pace he didn't like there. Still steely determination about Rusedski.
3 games to 1.
Well, having broken the Henman serve a couple of times, of course, in that third set, he should feel that he can do it again. Has to feel that.
If that was a test of movement,
15 long.
Henman won it.
Well, I think that's it, and I think we prefaced this event saying, or this match saying, that Henman was the better mover, and he would have got to that with more ease, and therefore given himself more options.
And
a poor return. Yeah, knifed the slice beautifully.
30-15.
Well, that's how he's always played his tennis, Rusedski. He hasn't done it nearly as much in this match. He said he was going to change his tactic. He has. Hasn't reaped many rewards. Will he revert to it?
Oh, yes. Brute of a shot from Rusedski.
30 all.
Oh, just outstanding tennis all round. Henman so elastic on the stretch, forcing Rusedski to come up with the goods, and that was quality.
Tried a shot he pulled off when he beat Pete Sampras that famous day in Paris when he won the tournament there 3 years ago. Pete Sampras in straight sets, best of 5. This is so good from Rusedski. This is the best he's been.
Well, aptly looking at Rod Laver's name there. This was a shot that Laver used to play, of course, and Rusedski doesn't come up with it all that often, but what an important strike there.
A nod from Tim. To say well done. Big chance now. Wow. So cool.
Yes.
Well, Rusedski is giving it all he's got and came so very, very close. What would have happened had that hit the top of the net? Henman so solid in the crisis. Labour a winner here, of course, multi-winner.
Advantage henman.
This would be a very noticeable feather in Henman's cap if he were to hold on here. How Rusedski has played so well in this particular game and feels he has to have reward.
Game henman.
Again, movement was the key. Quick change of direction. And the hands that match.
Leads 4 games to 1.
It's 4-1. Doesn't feel like 4-1, but it is.
Well, I'm just amazed, really. Some of the facility that Henman has shown, the elasticity, going one way, having to stretch the other, taxing really every fibre in his body, and bringing again off the same sort of shot that he did so remarkably against Volchkov in the second set to save his serve. These even more important strikes, though, and they really must be getting to Rusedski, and yet all credit to Rusedski, he's not showing it, giving it his all, playing good tennis, and yet Henman's winning those important points.
We said what a high-class match it is. This fourth set is actually even better than the first 3, and Rusedski is probably playing the best tennis of his career, certainly of this match, and Henman's his master.
Yes, of course, it's the problem. What Rusedski would have hoped was that that third set may have just perhaps lifted the floor a bit from under Henman, but it's not proved the case. The early break of serve, of course, all important for Henman.
There's the man responsible, Kieran Foster. On 4.
Left for service.
Well, I don't think Henman heard it. Rusedski certainly isn't acting as if he heard it. Another wave. Hello to Andreas Egli.
15 long.
Challenging him to call that one out. Or a left or something.
Well, one can understand his irritation.
Left for service.
He's a little music hall sometimes, though, Rusedski.
Yes. It's all part of the play.
Now, he really gave that a lick, that serve, and Henman got it back
15-all.
deep and well.
Found a soft ball. He won't make the Australian team. Oh, that throw.
Left for service.
Another little cry of yep from Rusedski as the ball sailed past him.
30.
He's sinking here.
first service.
So many options, he might have tried the lob again, but Rusedski was wide open for anything.
30-40.
Yes, that's exactly the beauty of the lob earlier on, the effective lobbing. Rusedski's not sure, he's almost expecting it, so he's on the back foot, not really crowding the net.
Break point, surely match point. That time.
Yes.
It really would have been a quite outrageous shot to have pulled off that one, but hey, we'd hardly have been surprised the way he's played.
Yes, we saw Zabaleta play a shot like that and score with it, but that would have been even more impressive.
Well played, Rusedski. Just a feeling at the moment that henman's almost toying with him.
Advantage Rusedski.
Well, this almost ripped Rusedski apart as he climbed the staircase backwards here. Wow, that was some effort. Ouch.
Again, Rusedski.
I said earlier that Rusedski will do almost anything to achieve.
Henman leads 4
He's
games.
remodeled his game, and remodeled the structure that he has when he serves. And Henman too, tinkering with key elements in his tennis approach over the off-season.
Yes, I think the difference is that Henman's have been improvements, his changes, whereas Rusedski's haven't. Just elucidate, and important to realize that Rusedski made his changes not to improve the serve, but to actually improve the longevity of his career, because the original serve was straining him so much. He had to abbreviate the swing and tax the body less.
And even though with those changes he did so well against Curtin last year here, you feel overall that they're not improvements.
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly. 6 aces in the match. Henman's fast, but he's not that quick.
Unlucky. I think if Henman could have reached it, he would have. It wasn't a leave.
Had the feeling, though, he sensed it was going out, but I think you're right. I think it would have had him beat. Great effort by Rusedski, though. So never say die.
Again, Henman.
Another super volley, full stretch, in control. And Tim Henman is a game away from the 4th round here.